Good morning. Good morning, afternoon, or evening, ladies and gentlemen. This is the Our2Cents podcast. I am Kaldhir, one of the hosts, and we have.
I'm JPaul247. I'm also one of the hosts, and we also have.
This is Olusive here, and this is our third host.
What?
We
You were the third
supposed
host.
to introduce Biqdz.
Yeah.
Oh, but that'd be fourth. Anyway, we'll just go into it. We'll go. So basically, what's up? You want to restart or no?
Let's just restart. Boom, 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 and after I say, and you're the third host or whatever, I'm bringing our special guest.
All right, got you.
All right. Good morning, afternoon, or evening, ladies and gentlemen. I am Kaldhir, one of the hosts of Our2Cents podcast, and here we have.
JPaul247. I'm another one of the hosts of the Our2Cents podcast, and below me we have.
This is Olusive here, your third and final host as of right now for Our2Cents.
This is the first episode of the R2 so feel free to give us suggestions, ideas, topics, guests, things that you want to see. We'd love to hear it. We're very curious how this is going to go, interested in what's going to happen, and certainly are along for the ride with whoever is willing and ready to listen to us. Today, we're actually going to have a guest on our first episode. It's going to be Biqdz. Biqdz is how you spell it. He's a Realm player. He's somebody that have become a good friend with, and as have Kaldhir and Olusive. They played with him a little bit, so we're going to bring him in today. Potentially going to be someone who's around a bit on the podcast. Could be a co-host. We don't really know, but yeah, we're going to drag him into the call here and get started. Biqdz, what's up, man?
How's it going? Let me get that going.
So right
Nice.
here we have Biqdz. This is our special guest and possibly future host to join us. We're going to start off with a little bit of an introduction of who we are, where we came from, our little backstory, so y'all get to know us on our first episode. I'll pass it to Kaldhir to start us off.
A little bit of a background about me. I'm pretty much like an isolated kid who grew up with absolutely no IRL friends for like many years, but making friends online was pretty easy. I got all these three guys right here around me. We seem to be pretty chill with each other, and another thing, I am Native American, and pretty cultural with some of my stuff, but or with some of my tribe, I should say. But otherwise, I don't know. I just play a lot of video games. I'm a big fucking nerd for stories and stuff like that. You know, like how some people are like way too into Star Wars. That I'm like one of those kind of guys. All right. And let's go with Jay next.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm JPaul247. I'm a Realm streamer, but as far as like my real life background, grew up in a small town, sort of a country boy at heart. You know, all the stereotypes you can imagine. I've probably seen, been through, or heard a story about. And yeah, sort of just getting into the internet thing as far as streaming pretty recently with Realm. Made some friends. These guys here doing a podcast, and yeah, I guess that's really it. I mean, I'm a Christian guy, trying to hit the freaking points here. Yeah, I'm just happy to be here, man. What about you, Olusive?
Basically, the country guy, middle of nowhere, absolutely nothing here. Found some good friends into gaming early on. Brother got me into it, and kind of found some of my best friends here. Came from a decent past. I mean, I had a bunch of hardships like everyone else. Everyone's kind of suffered and stuff, but I found the best thing was through gaming, and some of my closest friends I now know are all the people online, especially these three dudes right here. But you know, we're trying to have some fun, switch it out, try new things. I've kind of been a streamer for about 5 years now, and it's been a fun journey, and it's I want to see where the path takes us. And then of course we got our good old special friend here at Biqdz. Let's see what we can find out about this guy.
All right, man. Well, it's hard to follow up, man. Y'all got some good backgrounds here. But no, I grew up in a small town as well. Everyone and me and Elusive kind of have the lingo where hardships and family growing up, which kind of led me into gaming. Early on, it was a good escape. I found a lot of my friends, found a lot of my freedom there. Obviously, hardships come with certain things in life, but obviously we push through, makes us who we are today. I'm also an irrigation guy. Have my LLC, starting my own company, hopefully in the next year. Fixing sprinkler systems, it's not a passion I had for when I was a kid, but I kind of grew into liking it. So, obviously that's been a very, very big deal to me. But there's just things that led me here today, and I'm thankful. I'm thankful to be in the podcast. So I appreciate all you guys inviting me in. It's awesome.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that actually leads to a pretty good topic of he shared what he does for a living. I think maybe we could do that starting with Kaldhir if y'all want, or what it is you do with your life, like occupation, hobby, stuff like that.
Yeah. All right. Well, I am 22 years old. I started working at like 14 for the tribe. We were like doing like basically general labor stuff for like stuff around the school, like or not only around the school but like around the whole community, the tribal community. We like basically kind of lawn care and like just moving furniture and stuff for people. That was pretty cool. And then I started at the casino for about 4.5 years serving food. That was basically it. And then skipping past a couple of things, I have gotten into machining. I'm not working right now, unfortunately, but it is something kind of interesting to like learn all the specifications of like programming machines and also like making products with them, different pieces that can be put into like, well, literally anything. You got like computers, you got well, airplane parts, train parts, car parts, stuff like that. A lot of stuff can be made with lathes, mills, and stuff like that. But yeah, that's more or less what I'm trying to get into right now. So Jay, what you got going on?
Yeah. Also, I guess just as far as like work history, kind of like you started off with, I've been working since I was young too, maybe like 13, 14. Not necessarily like, slave labor or anything crazy, just like seasonal work, whether it be the tree farm or the canoe place or, whatever, like just making a little bit of money to do whatever, Once I got my license, it was kind of like if I wanted to go somewhere or do something, I had to have my own money, like I had to pay for gas. I had to, if I wanted to go do something, that was fine, but I had to pay for it. So you work canoes, you do, whatever you got to do to make a little bit of cash. That sounded wrong. Within the bounds of the law, But then whenever I started like working, like I guess my first real job was probably like Domino's, as weird as that is. Like my senior year of high school, I was at Domino's. And then whenever I went into college, which my major in college was pre-law, because my plans right now are to be studying for my LSATs and go to law school. But when I started that, I actually started the casino as well, but I was a barista. So I was making drinks, doing that thing. I'd like to say I make the nastiest chai tea latte literally this side of the Mississippi. It's uncontestable. It's my title. And after that, my aunt told me, like, she became a dealer, casino dealer, like dealing cards, blackjack, roulette, all that kind of stuff. And she did work at the Cage. And at the Cage, she made like $18 an hour or something. And then she became a dealer, and she was like, dude, I like almost tripled my income. And I was like, almost tripled? I was like, you made like $15 to $18. You almost tripled your income. And she's like, yeah, if you go to a 6-week class, like you can come over here where I work. And, I was like, what? So I take the class. I'm like naturally decent at math, so that's what I've been doing for the past couple of years. It started off as a college job. I have since graduated with a degree in pre-law, bachelor's degree in pre-law, and I'm still a casino dealer living in my city. I have an apartment, paying rent, doing the whole freaking kind of like college life, but minus the college at this point. So that's about it. I guess the only other thing is the fact that my dad was a commercial electrician at times, like on the side of his job. So I learned how to wire houses when I was younger, and can do stuff like that, wire a breaker box and wire a house and do all that kind of stuff from helping him. But yeah, that's me. What about you, Elusive?
So a little bit different from y'all. Y'all both started, working young. Like I said, my family, we didn't have much, but we were in a bad accident. Dad lost his job, found his own thing, building cars, stuff like that, and made money like that. And I never really, I never had to work. My family always took care of me, and I was going to college for cybersecurity. Loved electronics, computers. I loved that kind of stuff, but I didn't know for sure if that's what I wanted or anything like that. So when I went to college, I ended up dropping out. My brother was a welder, and I've always loved building stuff. Making stuff out of wood, out in the middle of the woods, cabins, stuff like that. I love that kind of stuff. And welding, especially in the country, stuff breaks all the time. You always need a welder. I became a welder. I just spent 1 year of college learning how to weld, and then about 1 month after I got out of school, at the age of 19, I got offered the head welding job for a college near me. I did that for about a year. COVID hit. Y'all know how that went. That shut the entire country down. And that was a fun time for all of us. So unfortunately, I lost the college job at about 20, and then I didn't have to really pay for anything. I had some money saved up, and then about 5 months later, I went working on the road, welding, building stuff. Did that for about 6 months, and I honestly couldn't handle it. My feet too bad, flat-footed, stuff like that. We were working 14 hours a day, 7 days a week, 6 months without a single day off. My body couldn't handle it. It was rough. So I quit and started working at Walmart, and about a year later I'm now a Walmart manager, and that's what I'm currently doing. And I'm only 23, only been working for the last 3 years, and so far doing pretty good. And it's, I don't have many options out here, but it's a good job. And I didn't think this is where I would be now, probably with you and wanting to do school and law and everything. You're a dealer and everything, you kind of understand, it wasn't really your plan, but you're kind of here right now and going with the flow. So you just kind of take what life hands you, and I'm here, and we'll see what the future has. What about you, Bick?
So I kind of started working pretty young too as well. Obviously I had gotten into some trouble, coming from a small school to a big school. When I made the transfer, I kind of got linked up with the wrong crowd, thinking it was the right thing to do, and so it led me into a suspension from school. I was kind of a troublemaker at that time in my life, and forced me into volunteering at a very young age. Probably, I would say it was 15 or 16. So in doing that, kind of broke my social skills, because I didn't have a lot of social skills. I didn't communicate with a lot of people. I didn't really talk with a lot of people. But with me, I don't want to boast, but I have a very big heart, and it's kind of where the strong suit of my life is, and compassion. So that helped me communicate. So we had a bake sale, and I was given the role to walk to other vendors and sell them Biqdz, basically, for donations, for the resource center. And in doing so, it made me very, very social. And leading into that path, it led me to Taco Bueno, which is a small fast food restaurant. It's very local to the Oklahoma, Texas area. I don't know, you may have never heard of it, but I worked my tail off there, and I just I grinded out, and I was the youngest general manager in the history of Taco Bueno at 18 years old. As soon as 18 hit, I ran my first store. I was had a very good assistant manager under me. I made way too much money for an 18-year-old. Kind of got over my head a little bit. I kind of had an ego going for me, thinking, I could take the world. It was a very low store. I did really, really well. I kind of brought the sales up. It was very steady. It was very chill. And then I got the opportunity to take a much larger store that was in need of a GM. I was young and I was working, and they just worked me to death when I went over there. I tried to fix it. I couldn't fix it. It was in a very small town, so hiring the Latino crew for the morning to help me do my prep. It was mostly just, older white folks, and call-ins were always a problem. So I was working 5:30 in the morning to 1:30, and then I turn around at 5:30 and do it again to 1:30. Like I was working like 17, 18 hours a shift on a salary, and it forced me kind of out of the position. So I ended up selling shoes. That's where I made the transition. My cousin was a general manager at Finish Line, which is a very broad shoe store. A lot of people know Finish Line. So I was mall hopping. I was in a busy mall when I trained, and then I got the opportunity to be a store manager for Finish Line at a lower end mall, and I just couldn't do it. It was just so slow paced and boring. So I'd made my way back to Taco Bueno. I was an assistant at a very high pay. I'm helping a store, and that's when my boss for Living Water Irrigation walked in, and he gave me the blessing of a lifetime to come work outside and try it, and I just loved it ever since. I don't know, it's just been something that I've bonded with, and now doing that for 3 years, kind of learning the ins and outs, studying the business, really spending a lot of time in studying what everything's about. I decided to create my own LLC, get my own van, and I just signed a contract off of Living Water to take over the O'Reilly Auto Parts locations for half of the United States. So I'll be driving around for months at a time, fixing sprinkler systems, and obviously doing very, very well for myself. I'm very blessed, and that's kind of where it's led me today. It's been an independent and great journey, so I'm very, very thankful for it.
That's massive, bro. Half the United States.
It is.
I think, coming off of that, I kind of wanted to just give everyone an opportunity to clear up anything that maybe someone else said that you wanted to clarify in your story. Like, I didn't say my age. I'm 23. I didn't really say my plans going forward. I do feel very lucky to be able to be a casino dealer, and I do very well for myself, considering what I do. Because when I was younger and always I was doing labor intensive jobs, whether it be picking up trees, picking up canoes, wiring a house, and now I go inside and I deal with people who gamble, and I make way more money than I ever did. So it's I feel lucky, but my plan is still to study for my LSAT, take my LSAT, get into law school. That's still my plan. I'm 23. Yeah, I guess I just wanted to give that opportunity because I felt like y'all gave me ideas of things that I didn't say in my intro. So yeah, if y'all have anything.
Yeah, no. I understand that completely. I mean, we're all kind of, around the same age. We've all kind of gone the same path, and you still want to go for your law school, and me, I don't really know. Most of my friends, in the country, were any good job to live off of. You either got fast food or you're working outside, road crew, electric company, and I was a welder. Out there in 110 degrees. Out there sweating, you got all your fire protective stuff burning. I've been on fire multiple times, got scars all over my arms from burns, and I'm thankful that I never thought I would work where I do now. I never thought I would go for Walmart, never thought of that, but I had a buddy, a high school friend, manager. I had nothing to do, I was like, why not? I'll do it for a little bit, find something else. And I just kind of, I was really good at my job, and I moved fast through it. Took me a year, and already a manager, and I plan on staying there. I never know though, things could happen, things could change. Something in life could change, but around here, for the pay and to live, it works great. I've met some great people, it's nice just seeing customers in the morning. You got those friendly people. Of course, you have the customers that are paying and stuff like that. You got those people in life, but it's really nice getting to sit down, talk to people, and actually kind of get to know someone, just have a little conversation. It's nice. I enjoy my job.
Okay. Kaldhir, you had anything that maybe you wanted to add or not necessarily?
Just a little bit, I guess. I guess I also wanted to mention that I'm also a college dropout. At 19.
Some of the most successful people in the world were college dropouts. It actually disheartens me that I went through it sometimes. I'm like, dang, Bill Gates didn't, Steve Jobs didn't. I'm doomed to fail, man.
Well, I guess I kind of was. I what I had imagined for myself in my life is American Airlines and working as an A&P, working as a mechanic. I actually paid way too much for school and didn't make it all the way through, and that's when I was working at Bueno and kind of doing that at the same time I was teetering, and that's when the irrigation job kind of knocked at my door. So I'm kind of in the same boat. I didn't finish school either, in a sense of doing what I thought I was going to do anyways.
Look at us.
I know, we're
the overachiever.
successful failures.
Hey, I
That's what we
got
call
more
it.
school to go, dude. I'm gonna be 28 by the time I'm like doing what y'all are doing. It's like, it's one of the weirdest feelings. You got friends who are in plant and like getting instrument tech degrees in 2 years, and you're just like, trust me, guys. Eventually, I'm gonna be making more money than you. Trust me, but it's like it's not gonna happen
You
until
got
I'm
those student loans,
27,
though, boy.
28,
Student
and I've
loans.
got, undergrad you can kind of handle, but law school is gonna be completely dependent on LSATs. So.
Yeah,
But
it
anyways,
is.
I want to let Kaldhir kind of clear up his thing real quick because we kind of went off a little bit.
Well, that was basically it. I mean, like, I was basically just trying to go for. I don't even remember at this point. I think I was trying to go for, like, computer stuff, I guess. Oh yeah, I do remember now. I was taking a couple like computer like networking classes and stuff like that, but I've honestly never had really any ambitions or desires of like what I wanted to do. That was for like a solid, well, 5 years, and then like when I turned 21, like a few months later, I eventually found my way into being a Christian, I guess. Well, again, because I mean, like I was born into it and raised into it, but then I kind of started teetering off. But as I came back, I kind of been more like I guess like a bit reborn, because like I used to be always like pessimistic and hateful, I guess. But after that whole thing, when I turned 21, I actually had like a lot more desires. There's like many things that I want to do, including this machining thing that I'm doing. I also want to do like carpentry or stonemason work or something like that. Or I've even done a little bit of welding, and I thought that was pretty awesome too. But kind of also want to get into like some like medical things as well, even. But obviously you need college for that to get into like most jobs to even, start experience. But right now, I'm just trying to grab at the first opportunity that comes my way, I guess. But as of right now, yeah, I not working. I put out many applications, but it's not really going so well for me. But that's pretty much all I was gonna finish up.
Yeah, I think that the application thing is something we can all understand. Like, I don't know. I feel like I was very lucky. I feel kind of bad. I'd have cousins who would like talk about, oh, I'm applying all the time and I can't get a job. And I'm like, dude, I've never waited more than 4 days for a job. Because like, I'm just lucky, right? Like, it just so happens that anytime I've ever applied for a job, I've gotten a job. And I'm from a small town, but the reality is, like, in a small town especially, it's never guaranteed that you're going to get a call back or you're going to get an interview or whatever. Like, I feel like kind of a jerk about that, but also my cousin's a jerk, so whatever. It's fine.
Coming from a management perspective, usually how it goes is it depends on what the application means of, and it depends if you're hiring. But yeah, typically it's like a 3-day process. Like if you're not recognized in 3 days, you got to make the attempt to reach out and be like, hey, I'm interested. And usually that's how you get in. And then that's usually when I was a GM, when I didn't really need people, but I also needed people. And that's how it kind of came abroad anyways.
Yeah, certainly the quickest way to get a job is to go in person, I feel like.
Yeah.
Like just the old adage,
Well,
just go show up.
You would think, but I think in today's day and age where technology's kind of in that weird transition, right? That's you can't just walk into a business now and be like, I want an application, because that's just not how anything rolls. So I think being from the live age, obviously calling and doing the extra stuff will kind of get you into that role faster, or help you proceed in that role. Don't be pestering, but be persistent.
Yeah, that's the thing. You gotta stay at it. Same with Jay. I've got buddies that, you know, they don't work, unemployed still, and they'll do the whole, hey, I need a job. Well, apply. Well, I've applied to, you know, 10, 15, 20 places, but they haven't called me back. Have you called them back? Like, when I got called for my job, I told them no the first time. I said I wanted this, I wanted this position. They offered me something that I did not want at all. I told them no. They said they understood. A different position opened up that I wanted. They did not call me, you know, because I just told them no a week ago, so they didn't call me. I called them. I was like, hey, you know, I would be interested in this spot if you would like to give me the chance. They said yeah, they would probably call back. I ended up giving them like one more call. I got an interview, and then here I am now. I mean, 2 years later, like, you gotta stay at it. You can't just throw it out there and then just hope. I mean, sometimes you can, sometimes you'll get a call back, but just you gotta stay at it. You know, you gotta put in some effort. Especially, it depends on the business. You know, how many people do you have applying to this? Do you have just 3, or do you have 100 people that are applying? You know, is there a lot of applications? Is there a lot of stuff? They're gonna give it, or at least give someone a chance to whoever's actually interested. You know, do you have 90 of these people that put in an application and won't answer a phone call, and then you've got 10 people that are calling back, hey, I really want this job, I think I'll be good. You know, who are they going to look at more? The people that put in an application and didn't say a thing, or someone that put it in and is showing that they want it, they want the work, you know?
Yeah, absolutely.
That brings, yeah, I mean, that's it. Persistency. Do y'all read any books? How active y'all on the reading?
Bro, I was I got my bachelor's degree. I've read way too many books to the point of like you sort of lose the novelty of reading for pleasure. But I have gotten back into reading a bit for like, you know, personal interest. But yeah,
Of course.
I've read some textbooks cover to cover, I can tell you that. Some classes are easier than others, but my last year of college was, you know, it is what it is.
And another good thing is, and this is where I found most of my success and just being out there, is just reading books to better yourself necessarily. Like, I vent on video games. Like, I don't read books for fun. Like, it's not something I do for fun, but it's more of like a study in myself, right? So I just love Napoleon Hill, you know, Think and Grow Rich. I mean, it's a good book. It's a drag to get through, but it tells you the secrets to life. Like, it just tells you how to spend your time and obtain your time, and how the people of those times were successful and how they did their things. And as boring as it sounds, it made so much sense. But if there's one recommendation I could do for anyone that wants to start a business, that wants to get a higher rank in their job, wants to start their own thing or do whatever, it's studying yourself, read books, watch videos, and it'll definitely open up something that you never thought you had. And that's definitely something that it did for me. I was very, very fortunate about.
No, I don't read. No.
Hey, Audible. Audible is the way to go.
I can't
Audible is the way to go.
Focused. I can't, man. If I read a book, I'll read the same page 10 times, and I won't tell you what half of it was. I cannot do it. Like, when we had to do book reports in school, shoot, I found whatever book had a movie, and I just took the test and hoped for the best. Like, I don't read. I cannot do it. I hate it.
Like, I was gonna say, and it comes down to like what your interests are, right? Like, you don't have to read those boring books, but like there's so many out there. Like, even on Audible, there's so many out there that is like so easy to attach to. Like, there's one, I can't remember his name for the life of me. He's a Navy SEAL. He's crazy. He's got a crazy, yeah, Jocko. He's got a book, and I mean, his book will make you like run through a wall. I'm telling you, it'll make you run through a wall if you listen to it on Audible.
It's like it's something about being a leader, right? Like
shoot,
something leadership is what it's called, right?
It's literally in my other bedroom, sitting on my nightstand.
Yeah.
I've read it a few times. But yeah, no, it's definitely good. But I'll definitely link it in after you all, so that you can check it out. for sure, it's something to check out. Obviously, it's not everyone's desires, but I recommend it 100%.
I think that there's a principle at play when it comes to reading equals some sort of an advantage in life. There's certainly something to say for the fact that good things don't come easy. And like my first desire is certainly not to go read a book or to go
Amen.
learn about something. But whenever you put yourself in a place of discomfort and you get out of your comfort zone, it's inevitable that you will grow. And that's just a sort of truth that exists independent of us, you know what I mean? Like it is what it is. If you put yourself in a place where you're uncomfortable and you put yourself out of your comfort zone, that's the same thing. But if you do that, you will grow. And so yeah, I can just remember many times in college especially having to work, close to full time, if not full time sometimes. The last thing you want to do when you get home from work is freaking go do a forum or go read a book or go learn something. But you have to have like another goal in mind, another motivator that makes you do that. And certainly all successful people don't just enjoy every moment of their busy day. Like they make themselves do things that they wouldn't necessarily want to do in and of themselves. I think that's an important lesson to sort of internalize, is that like getting what I want doesn't necessarily mean I'm going to be happy through the process, because that's not what happiness is.
There's a good quote. You got to do the things you don't want to do things that you want to do.
Mm-hmm.
Things that you wish you could do. And that's something that's guiding me through when I'm like doing this one thing and it's like, man, I could the sprinkler head, man, it's not great, but it's okay. And it's just like at those moments you got to think, how you do one thing is how you do everything, and you got to fix it. So it's a guided thing through life.
The name of that book is Extreme Ownership. Just Googled it. Thank you, Google.
Well,
Shout out
thank you, Google. Shout out to Google. Coming in clutch.
I definitely don't want to end like the real life topics, and if y'all have anything real life that you want to say, but Biqdz brought this to my mind, so I got to put it out there. He kind of like segued into sort of how he might have came to gaming, and I think that gaming is definitely something that has allowed us to find each other, whether it's been Twitch or another thing. Like ultimately it's gaming. Definitely don't exclude any real life stuff, because I think that's probably a part of the story anyway, but I am kind of curious what sort of each of our story is as far as how we got into gaming. What was that like, and sort of maybe like your first game or something, just Biqdz carrying the podcast as per usual. Kaldhir, you want to start us
out? Sure, why not? All right. So I was very, very young. I was about 2.5 years old, apparently, or well, even 2. I was walking around and watching my older stepbrothers and sister like play on a Nintendo 64. Even my uncle playing games on the computer that my grandma did her work on or something, like paperwork or whatever. But anyway, so none of the games on like the controllers or whatever really interested in me. It's not like it could, I guess, anyway, because I don't know, my hands were too small or whatever. Even though it was a simple game like Mario or like PlayStation games like Crash Bandicoot, Spyro, whatever. I eventually got into those like a little bit later, but apparently I was just like watching my uncle play this game called StarCraft on the computer, and yeah, about like it's what my grandma says anyway, is that that even just that little watching my uncle play StarCraft, and eventually like after he went to go to work or something, I would hop on it myself, and like I would like try to make the game work, but I'm just kind of moving my little hand around on the mouse, but it was super fun, I guess, and it more or less led me to some pretty cool people that I've known for quite a while now. Well, these guys about like 6 months, 6 months, but some of my closer friends about like 3-4 years. And is that you next, Jay?
Yeah, I guess for me there wasn't really like a rhyme or reason. Like gaming wasn't necessarily like an escape or anything like that for me. I just the earliest I can remember gaming is my dad on the computer playing spades. He would play online spades. And I remember I was so curious how to play spades. I was like, why does he want to play spades? Like if I don't know where dad is, I go to the third bedroom and there he is playing spades. Like and anytime that he would have like the bots, like the player 1, 2, or 3, he'd leave because he wanted to play against real people because the bots were too easy. And I was like, what is this? And so I was just kind of interested in sort of the computer at a very young age. But we never really had computer games. The first gaming thing that I ever had was a Game Boy Advance, and I remember I played like a Shrek game or something. And that just has its natural progression. I get a Nintendo, me and the boys sitting, playing like Airplay or whatever it was called, where you have Mario Kart and you're doing balloon battles. But gaming was never really something that I spent a lot of time doing. It was more of like after the airsoft war, after the fishing, after the hunting, after the whatever, in the evenings, we might do this for a couple hours with our friends. But the first like PC experience that I had was World of Warcraft. A good friend of my brother's, and by extension, a pretty good friend of mine. Me and my little brother only 2 years apart, a little bit less than 2 years apart. His family all played World of Warcraft, and they introduced us to this game. And we're watching them play, and it's like so foreign to us, like this open world and these abilities and these classes. And it's like this. It seems so nerdy. It's called the World of Warcraft, but then of course you play for the first time, and you're like, holy, like this is crazy. Like I'm an elf with a bow. Like what is going on? And you want to play, and then you get your first computer, and it's like you just immerse yourself in that world. And honestly, it got to an unhealthy point with World of Warcraft. Not necessarily the greatest entry to PC gaming, but yeah. I guess that's sort of where I discovered that you can have like this community in gaming, where it's like you can meet people, you can be chill with people, you can talk to people, you can actually make potentially real life friends or people that you're willing to talk to about things that aren't games through a game. And I just kind of branched out from there, So that's my gaming.
So like, so kind of how I grew up was, family never really had much. We grew up very poor. But when we would go visit our uncle, he was real big into computers. He would build them, and this was back, 20 years ago when it was very hard. Like you had to know a lot about stuff, and he would build them. And I always thought, it was kind of nerdy, but I would watch him play like the old Lord of the Rings games back then. And if like they wanted to do something that was adult stuff, I would just kind of sit there and mess around. Never knew what I was doing or anything like that. Just pressing random stuff. And then for Christmas, he decided to get me and my brother the original Xbox. Had it custom decked out with a Star Wars logo and stuff on it. And I never really played it much. It was just kind of, if a friend came over, there wasn't online, you would just, hey, we're going to play Halo, or we're going to play Call of Duty World at War, or split screen, just mess around. And it was just kind of like a fun thing you did with your friends when you were over, but it was a lot of outside stuff. And then my brother, who's 5 years older than me, Modern Warfare 2, I watched him play that back on the PS3, and I was just, oh, this is awesome, this is awesome. And then I finally got a PS3. I did some like chores and stuff for Dad. Would go out and pick stuff up, help my neighbor clean some stuff. Just made a little bit of money just to show that I wanted it. And then I got PS3, started playing Modern Warfare 2, kind of as like my first official game. And for me, unlike y'all, it was kind of a escape through personal stuff, either bullying or depression or something like that. Like it was my escape, and I was naturally good at gaming. It just came naturally to me. I was really good, so I enjoyed it. So it was kind of my escape, and I just continued with PS3 and then the PS4, And then when I was in college, I had a laptop, and my brother worked at Bad Boy Mowers, and he had a streamer friend, uh, and he was like, a PlayerUnknown's Battleground came out. What's that? My brother couldn't run it on his computer. I had a laptop. Hey, you should get this game. Just I want to see if it works. I got it. Never played a PC game in my life. Didn't even know where the keys were. And I was like, yo, this is fun. This is fun. This is fun. And then it was about 2 months later, I built my first PC. And then I just kind of fell in love. And then I met some great friends. It was like my third week on PC gaming. I met a guy and became great friends with him. And now I work with him. He lives in my state. He's married. I was his best man. And that was 5.5 years ago, and I still talk to him. All of my best friends are now in gaming, so it was kind of an escape where you could talk about more real life stuff, but you didn't have to like actually know them, you know? You didn't have that awkward, oh, I know you, if we talk about this, it may be weird. You kind of had that escape. You could talk and really get to know people and have a good time, and it's just it really brought me even further into the gaming scene, and now here we are just hanging out, and I would consider y'all some of my best friends, like, and I think gaming is really good about that now, and it's been a good fun journey, and I don't regret any of it.
So, I guess how mine started. I also was a very, very low income family at the time. My parents worked very full time jobs, just to kind of make do with what we had. But my grandma, she lived in the same neighborhood. It's actually in the same neighborhood I live now. I actually bought my childhood home as my first home. But I would go over there, and my Aunt Leanne and Mark had a Nintendo 64, and they had an extra one, and they came down and they left it there. And man, I played Donkey Kong, I played Super Mario, and one of my best friends growing up, he lives in Florida now. He had a PlayStation, and I'd always go over there and we'd play Call of Duty Modern Warfare 4, like the first one. And I sucked because I only went over there to play. I was terrible. I was very, very terrible. But some of the greatest memories were him coming over and playing Nintendo 64, playing Mario Tennis, playing, Super Smash Bros, like playing like the original games. It was kind of a really, really fun experience. And shortly after, my parents had split, so I spent a lot of time at my grandma's house in the free time I could. So playing the Nintendo 64 was a good way to avoid those things. Obviously, I kind of played Nintendo for a long time, had a DS. I kind of moved up into that. When I had kind of gotten into a situation finally where my parents had split custody, it was one Christmas, and I wanted a PlayStation 4 like so bad. Actually, it was a PS3, sorry. I wanted a PS3 like so bad. And I was at my dad's, and we had opened all the presents up, and then I didn't get it. I felt kind of bummed. I was like, man, I'm bummed out. And he's like, oh, we got one more gift. How they do the one more gift thing. And then they got my first PlayStation 3, and I played Modern Warfare 3. That was the Call of Duty that kind of set it off for me. I played that game an unreligiously amount of time. Like I'd spend probably way too much time on it because it was just my escape where I made friends. I played endless hours. It was so much fun. But in that, I kind of found a good point in my life where it was just like, I have no bothers. Like, it's just like where I can just go and be me. And it was kind of one of the destructive things of my life and one of the greatest things in my life, because I kind of gained my social skills to play games. So like inner people to people contact wasn't like my strong suit. But shortly after, obviously, when I finally got on my own, I had a PlayStation 4, I'm a Call of Duty guy through and through. I played Modern Warfare Remastered, I played Black Ops 2, I played all those. And I finally got my first PC. This will be the funny story. I played a lot of PC games, kind of Call of Duty, just the basic stuff, and I could never transition to mouse keyboard. Like an ungodly thing for me to transfer to. Like I just couldn't get it. Like it was just one thing I could never get down. And so I sold my first PC. I got a console again. And then shortly after, my buddies that played on PC that I had developed those friendships with are like, man, you really should get one again to play PC with. So I did again. And then shortly after, the same thing kind of repeated where I was like, man, this sucks. I can't get used to it. Updating the graphics card and doing all this stuff, it just sounded like nonsense. So I could just update one thing on a console and be good. So I sold it again. And then I was went back to console playing the same games. And just recently, I had gotten another PC. And I was doing the irrigation kind of full time. I obviously got married. There's a lot more important things in life than gaming. So at that transition in my life, I was like, I really don't need it as much as I thought I did. So I downgraded again. And this is where we're at currently. I've met some of the best boys I've ever played with in my life. Some of my best friends. I love Realm. It's a good game. It's how I met Jay. It's how I met all of y'all. It's through him, and I'm very very blessed to have that. But yeah, gaming for me has just been a very, very big escape in my life. Now it's more of a hobby, so I enjoy it.
Heck yeah. Well, I kind of think that the next topic would be, and it might be a short one, but just to sort of explain how we got to know each other. Like that story might be different for each relationship between each of us. Like individually, could have happened a different way. So let's give Olusive the floor on this one. How you want to start on this?
So basically, like how we met.
Yeah.
Oh, so good old Biqdz and Kaldhir here. I kind of met through our good friend Jay Paul up there, and as you're here a lot, we're all Realm Royale gamers and streamers. It's Battle Royale. If you don't know, it's a very fun game. And well, I was out there streaming, having a good time, and anytime us like smaller streamers, especially me, I love interacting with other ones. And I came across random game. I was like 7 hours into a stream. I was just going. It's been a good day, and I'm in a battle. I didn't see the starting lobby. I didn't know who was in this match. I was AFK away doing some stuff. I came in, and I've been rolling people all day, having a great day. And I died instantly. I just got smoked. And I was so confused. I was like, whoa, who is this? And I just saw killed by JPaul247. And it said Twitch. And I was like, okay, we got a streamer guy in here. So I checked him out, and I was like, okay, a pretty cool dude, whatever. And that was about it. Then I moved on. I played a game, and then the next game, here he is, JPaul247 again. I was like, okay, this is going to be a fight. This is going to be fun. And then I won the fight. So we're like out 1v1, and we're having like a battle, and we don't even know, like, oh, who's the better one. And we're playing the same character, and then like the third time, I kind of joined the fight while he was fighting someone because I saw he was over there, and I was like, oh, I've got to get this guy. I've got to. This is my only competition. And I got him, and it was dirty. I kind of, I snuck in the middle of his fight. He was doing a good fight, and I just kind of hid back. I took my kill, killed him, and then I hopped in his chat and was like, yo, GG, stuff like that. Then started talking to him, seeing him more. A new update came out, so there was a lot of people just coming into the game, and I kept seeing him, so I hopped in his chat, started talking, and then we were like, yo, we should play some games one day. And we got into a match together. We had a great day, and we started playing, and then we can tell one story later of a little forbidden VOD type thing that happened. But,
it's forbidden for a reason.
We might not have the best history for about a 30-minute time frame. It's if Jay wants to tell it, he can. But we just kind of been playing ever since then for months now, and it's and then I kind of met Kaldhir, and Biqdz because they knew Jay, and then I've kind of joined the little group that they had and made my way in, and here we are months later and still playing together. And we might not play as much anymore together, but we still get a lot of games in and we have a good time, and we've got, I would say, a pretty good friendship now and I'm really glad I got to meet him, and it's just that one random thing that's led us here, and it's been fun. What about you, Cal?
Well, my story goes a little bit different because I didn't meet you through Jay. I met you.
Was it not Jay?
I met you before Jay, honestly.
I thought it was after Jay.
Nope.
Oh, my bad. There's
Right.
a little crack in my story then.
Yeah, just a little bit. All right. So growing up, obviously, StarCraft guy. I was like watching StarCraft content creators. One of them, apparently played Realm Royale like some odd years ago, like when it first came out. It was a pretty good game. I kind of like watched those. Thought it was like all right, and then eventually, apparently, it came out again as Reforged, and he played it again, and I was like, you know what, I'm bored enough. I'll hop on and try this game, and yeah, I played one game, thought it was all right. I turned on my own stream, and I started playing on my own. I got a raid from one of the other Realm streamers, and I was kind of like having a good time for my first day on, and after about like a couple hours or so, was calling it good, calling it a day, and I was I was trying to look for some people to raid out. I seen this guy who had like a really cool setup with like all these kinds of like colors and lights in the background, and like apparently it's this sort of like Viking vibe to him. It was it was pretty cool. So I hit him with the raid, and I ended my stream. I quit out the game. I was actually gonna uninstall it, but watching this guy go off and like roll some people is like, okay, you can actually get like pretty dang good at this game, and it's kind of cool to see, I guess. And I stuck around because he's a cool guy, and eventually sometime later, I think like maybe like even a couple hours, or maybe like a day later or something like that, I seen JPaul247. I opened up his channel as well, and got these two Realm guys that apparently I follow for some odd reason, even though I don't really like the game that much as they do. But it's pretty cool. Kind of crazy how like these random things can make you meet some of the coolest people, I guess. So that's how I met those two, and like I'm kind of like watching their streams separately, and yeah, I don't know. Apparently they eventually ran into some games with each other and met each other on their own instead of me saying anything. But yeah, that's it for me.
Dang. Okay,
Yeah.
so I may have been a little off. I thought it was from Jay. My bad. But just before we go on, if anyone ever wants to check it out, all links will be in description for all these guys' streams. If you ever want to know what this game is we're talking about. But what about you, Jay?
Yeah, we play it too much.
We do.
We
play too
actually
much.
remember Elusive did a pretty good description of our meeting. He was just like a guy in the game, I was like, wait, Elusive? Oh, there's Elusive again. I was like, oh, this guy's gonna be a good fight. And then eventually we just played. It's kind of similar to Biqdz, but I do remember Kaldhir. Like, I thought that Kaldhir was like a long time Elusive person, because I remember he was like, yeah, I came from Elusive's chat, and I was like, yeah, I've seen you in Elusive's chat. I was like, you've been there for a while. Like, I thought he was like maybe like a healer girl type character. And then eventually we get to talk, and he's like, I probably knew Elusive for about 2 days. And I was like, oh, okay. It's like this all happened like relatively quick. But I guess it's important to say that the sort of streaming in the Realm community is my first like interaction with like a community. Maybe not with a community in gaming, but with like people who you may talk to outside of the game about things that aren't the game that actually matter, if that makes sense. Like, even when I was playing World of Warcraft, when I logged off of the World of Warcraft, those people had no bearing unless I already knew them. Like, and playing any other games like TF2 or anything up until this point, I've never really partook in Discord communities or stuff like that. But since streaming, you know, I've met these guys and other people who I would consider like people that I would chill with and friends, and obviously we're doing the podcast now. It's like sort of my first go with it. So I haven't been around it, this idea of meeting people and them being friends online for as long as some of these guys, but it's certainly been a cool experience. And yeah, with Biqdz, it was actually kind of similar to Elusive, but I don't remember if we actually ran into each other in any games. I think we must have.
Mm-hmm.
And then you came in my chat and you were like, hey, we should get some games sometime. I was like, oh, cool, like someone I've never seen before. Yeah, let's get some games. And then it's kind of weird how similar y'all's two stories are, because I remember when I played with Elusive, like within the first, we played for like a whole day, and the first day, within like the 3 games, we were dogging each other like we had known each other for like a long time. We had like, we literally just played and got Discord that day, and we're like, dude, shut up, you idiot. It's like, we don't know each other, but like, we
we've
kind of
been
had
friends since birth.
yeah, we had like the same sort of like way of interaction, and I could sort of tell he was maybe from a place kind of like I was from, just like a small town, or maybe it was southern, or there was definitely sort of like a kindred spirit kind of feeling. And it was the same thing with Biqdz, where it's like we're playing, it's just like it's chill. I may have not dogged Biqdz kind of like I dogged Elusive on the first day, but we definitely vibed.
Oh,
Like,
I've
could
been
joke with
dogged
each
hard
other.
by you.
Yeah, the forbidden VOD, just to sort of allude to what that is, it has to do with my propensity to tilt, and there may have been a nasty 1v1 that had me tilt live on stream.
Let's just say
But,
I won it.
It's debatable.
No, I won it. It said victory for me. You were just mad how I
He
got
did have a victory screen. Did he cheat?
it. No.
Up to debate, right? Obviously, within the next 4 years, I'll be able to take him to court, and I'll obviously prove without a shadow of a doubt, in a lawful manner, that he's guilty, and we will have him indicted. But until that point, but yeah, that's sort of my story about all of it, I think.
I guess how I kind of came in, it's kind of a similar story with Elusive. I was just, you know, I was scrolling through Steam because at the time I was on computer. I was kind of in that weird like transition period, and I was playing around with some buddies from Rocket League because I just had to scroll through, and I saw Reforged, and I was like, they remade the game. I was like, oh, it's interesting. So I hopped back in the game. Obviously, I was playing, and man, I was so washed, like I was so bad. Come back to the game on PC. I also didn't know that there was 0 aim assist on PC with controllers, so I couldn't figure out why I was so bad. But I soon figured that out. But shortly after I switched to console, I was playing the game, doing some solos. I had like any input type on because it was like the only way to find like competition games. I was just storming through the lobby, and then there's one lobby. I'm going into Forge. Weapon is just where you kind of you upgrade everything. It's just at different POIs on the map. And I walk in there to Forge, and there's a warrior in there, and this man isn't missing nothing. Like, he's just hitting me with everything he has, and I probably hit him like one time, like I barely hit him, and he just chickens me and then finishes me and goes on through his day. And of course I see Twitch, so you know I didn't want to go in there right afterwards and be like, you know, hey, you just rolled me, you know, like I didn't want to be ashamed. So I went in there, I watched for like a solid 2 hours, and I was like, okay, this guy's actually pretty chill. I was like, we should game. And that's why I sent him the invite, and then, you know, furthermore, kind of took off, and we got a pretty good friendship out of it, I hope. Hopefully it continues. And that's kind of where I met Olusive and Kaldhir first, obviously. At that time, I was kind of streaming as a hobby in the wintertime here. And he's a really good dude. I just played with him. Me and Jay and him played for a long time. And then I guess after that, shortly, I figured out who Olusive was. We had a little donation battle in J Paul's chat.
Yeah,
he did win. He did win. I'll give him that. He won.
1v1s? Everything.
But shortly after, we all got in touch, and it was, I don't know, ever since then, it's kind of kicked off. And I'm proud to be a part of the group and hanging out with you boys. I really appreciate it.
Heck yeah, bro.
Yeah, it's it kind of like how Jay was saying earlier about how, you know, being a streamer, especially a small streamer, if you're big and you're well known, you could play whatever, do whatever, and you got people to watch. But like, there's certain games and communities where as soon as you switch, you could be at a 2,000 viewers. You switch off a game, you're down to one. Like no one would watch. You know, they're there for that one game. But Realm, it's got like a whole different community. I mean, I met some of the chillest people through Realm, and you could stream, play whatever, and you'll have people hopping in, and they'll be from Realm, they'll be wanting to watch. Like, the Realm community is very different, and we were kind of just pulled together into that and brought our own communities and just made a bigger one. And of course, we're nothing big into the game or anything like that. Like, we're not the most well known or anything like that, but it's a very different community that we got brought into, and it's got a much different relationship than most games. Like, there you've got the toxic people, the people that just want to be, you know, complete jerks and do whatever. But like, everyone from Jay, everyone from me, everyone from Big, everyone from Cal, like any one of us, if we, hey, we're going for this guy or we're going to that guy, like everyone's yes, you know, nothing but support. And it's I think it's really helped kind of bring us more together. We don't have any tension between some of our people or some of his people or anything like that. Everyone's helped bring everyone together. And I'll see people that don't even follow me, but they know Jay and he said stuff about me, or you know, I'll send them to Big, or you know, they may know Kaldhir, and like it's been a great thing to help bring more of us together. And I think it's really helped. We have no tension between us because we have nothing bad in the community. It's a great community.
Yeah, absolutely. And
I
I think
agree.
of
I
all
agree.
of us, Kaldhir probably has the most unique experience because, if I'm not mistaken, he was streaming other games like StarCraft and stuff, and then sort of stumbled into Realm. So having people from his community maybe stop by or say hello, or from ours stop in and his, is like two worlds colliding, kind of, because we might have some unique viewership within the Realm community to some extent, but his viewership is definitely going to be, you know, unique to his games, his community, and otherwise. So, kind of curious to hear about that, sort of what your experience has been about that.
I don't think he has any.
Just, it's like, no, nothing.
It is.
Then
fun,
again, you
though.
haven't streamed much.
Okay.
Actually, this would be kind of funny to do, because mine is different for all of y'all. Because I actually probably met y'all and knew y'all maybe before this happened, but maybe like some stories about the first time we were in each other's stream. Because I know that the first time I was in Kaldhir's stream, he was playing God of War, and we basically had like a pseudo philosophical conversation, like through chat. I remember I was like chatting in his stream. I was like, "How you doing, man? Like, how's life?" You know, and I just remember he talked in like in sort of a Kaldhir way, but he was making like deep points. Like he was like, "Yeah, I'm going through this game again for more achievements." He's like, "It's kind of like life," and I was like, "What?" I was like, "Whoa!" I was like, "This is kind of like life, I guess." And then I don't know, like he just had this vibe about it. I was like, "Dude, I gotta drop this guy a follow." Like, and then for Elusive, it was like obviously we gamed and we had a blast. But then whenever I watched the stream for the first time, he was more mellow. He was just gaming, like he was just slaying people, and it wasn't like any hype reaction or anything. He was just like, "Oh yeah, that dude's dead." It's like, oh, got him. But like when we're playing, we're like dogging each other. Then I watch the stream, he's like, "Killed that idiot!" Like on the net, you know. I don't know. I think it's funny some of how I might have thought that you would be from your stream versus how it is whenever we actually interact is quite different. Kaldhir maybe being the exception. He's still capable of philosophical stuff, but I would have maybe thought that like maybe he couldn't interact in a joking way based on that. I was like, that's an interesting thing to say to like a first time chat, you know. But you know, you can't judge a book on its cover. I don't know. Maybe that could open some doors.
Nah, I agree. Like, the first time I ever talked to Cal, and it was just like kind of like you said, like the way Kaldhir is, and the way he'll explain something will make you think, you would think deep into anything. He could tell you a way mashed potatoes are cooked, and you're like, yo, that was like, that was deep. Like, he just has a way to, like, explain life and anything where you get it and, like, you think more into it, stuff you would never even think about. And, like, so seeing him, talking with him, it was awesome. Like, it really, like, opened you up. And then, of course, Jay, I watched him outside of our games and stuff, and he was always this super, like, until he got tilted, but, like, super chill dude, like, always welcomed everyone, like, was awesome, just a great guy on and off stream. Like, that's one thing. You'll see someone and you may see their stream self, and then how they actually are is completely different. But all these guys, they've got something about them where they draw you in. They really do. Like, about anything. It could be gaming, could be them complaining about something, or it's just, I don't know, they've got something about them, this, like, charisma that will just draw you in. And Jay's, like, the funny guy, the one that's always joking even if he's mad. And, like, I personally make Jay mad just because it's the funniest thing ever. Seeing this man get tilted and then, try to make something funny out of it, and he's just over here doing his silent thing. But I don't know, it's just something about all of them. And then you got Biqdz over here that's using a controller and playing on console, just destroying kids, and then continues his conversation about ranting about the game and saying how bad the game is. But then he's like, hold up, there's a guy over there, and kills him, and it's like, well, anyways, this game is just and just goes off. Like, it's great. Like, it's funny how we can all just be talking and continuing about anything, and then we'll just get into something, shut off, and do that, and then right back, yeah, so anyways, like, and it's been a fun experience.
Yeah, I know my first impression of Biqdz was like, this guy's on freaking controller?
Yeah.
Like, I remember the first time I went to his stream, he finished forging a sniper rifle, rolled out of Valley. I remember exactly where he was. Peeked the door of the house right outside of the Valley Forge. Insta headshot the dude, swapped weapons, and just killed it. And I was like, what? And then I looked and he was on console. I was like, I need to watch this guy. And he's just like, he makes it look so smooth. I'm like, holy. I was like, this guy's actually good. Like, I want to see him play some other games. And then, of course, you play with the guy, and he's also super chill. And, like, you can game with him and have a good time, make a friend. But I was just amazed by his controller. I was like, bro, this is wild.
Comes from the Nintendo 64, dude. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's been a thing since birth, man. I don't know.
You're gonna see this man just streaming one day, and he's gonna have a Nintendo 64 controller, sniping kids.
On Realm.
Emulator.
On Realm.
On Realm, just doing work.
Good lord.
Go and get a Wii stick next, and be just moving his arms.
Be like the Dark Souls guy for Realm.
The Dark Souls guy.
Oh, God.
Oh.
Even do it with a dance, like a little mat thing. You're just like stepping around it.
That'd be hard.
In that way, and then
WASD.
WSD on that.
No, like,
Gotta do
you know the
spins to
fascinating
switch
thing
weapons.
is the Ash Boys. He's a new streamer that came into Realm, and
Oh, yeah.
everyone hypes me up. The dude has cerebral palsy, and he plays with one hand on the controller. He puts it on his leg. He plays controller with one hand, and the dude is better than like 98% of the other controller players in the game, and he plays with one hand.
Dang.
Like, not enough props to give to that man. And I've had some opportunities, me and Jay have, to where I've been able to get possibly some exclusive stuff in the game. And I had told Shiz, I was like, dude, to be honest with you, I think it'd be more rewarding if he had it than me. I was like, Dad, just give it to him. To give it to Ash Boys, I think it'd be sick. So hopefully he does. I'm in hope that he does. But I get a lot of praise, but I'm humble at the same time. I'm not the best. And there's far better than me.
Yeah, that's certainly something in the Realm community that's quite interesting, especially my personal journey through it. Like I think that I'm a little bit further removed from it than some people can be, and I'm certainly more invested than others. You know, I'm like in the middle of the spectrum. But I went from a place of like this guy who was potentially, you know, aligned himself with some questionable characters, and people didn't really know. People sort of had this idea, like, you know, he seems chill on stream, but then the people that he plays with, like, I know how they are. So is he two-faced? Is he this? Is he that? And my journey through the community has definitely been bumpy, and I've, you know, said some things about people that I definitely shouldn't have said. I think that my style of joking in some sense very early on got me in some dirty water with people, where it's like, I remember one of the earliest clips that, like, I remember it got like more than 10 views. I was like, oh my gosh, it got more than 10 views. It's like me telling Total Pro to suck my toes. But like, I didn't know Total Pro or anything. I just reacted to a clip, and I thought that was a funny reaction. But that carries weight, you know what I mean? Like, you don't just say that about people you don't know. So I definitely have learned sort of how to maybe interact with the community, how a community might take things, and I've had to do some learning along the way, but it's been a fun experience and overall rewarding, and you learn things about yourself, you know. I certainly want to be better about tilting, you know, being rude to those around me because I get upset. Like, that's definitely preaching to the choir here. How Biqdz gonna lose, dude. Biqdz thinks he's gotten a bad treatment, dude. But if he saw the clip of the 1v1 with me and Olusive, he would feel like he got off easy.
It's just tell the story,
dude. Okay.
I need the link to the forbidden VOD.
The forbidden freaking VOD is gone. It's the deleted VOD. But dude, okay, man. So essentially, Olusive might know the details a little bit better than me, but you essentially challenged me to a 1v1, correct?
And just to throw
well,
this
we're
up,
playing duo, and then we're like, let's do some solos and like do a 1v1.
I mean, we're rolling the lobby, so we've had a full day. I don't think we've lost. And we're always like playing the same character, you know. Yo, who's better? Because he was really good, I was really good, and it was just the whole, hey, let's do a 1v1. And this is like day 2 or day 3 of us playing. I mean, we're very early on to this relationship. And he agrees, and I'll let you take it from there, Jay. It's all yours, bud.
Well, everything makes sense, right? It's a 1v1. There's someone in the lobby who's gonna be good, who's gonna be on your character. Actually, I think you were Assassin and I was Hunter.
Yeah, I was
Because
Assassin.
you were like, I'll fight you as Assassin, and I was like, well, I'm definitely gonna pick Hunter for a 1v1. Anyway, it starts off, if I remember correctly, it starts off with a third party. I'm fighting. It might be a bot, it might be a real person. I get sniped and chicken, and we're gonna run our chickens out. So we're gonna have like 3 fights or whatever, 4 fights. So I'm like, okay, third party, fair enough. Next fight, I think I chicken him, and we're even. And it was, I might have third partied him back, maybe. I don't exactly.
Yeah,
remember
because I was at
well,
where was I? I was
Northport at this point.
Yeah, and I was fighting someone on the stairs, and you showed up and hit me as soon as I finished. So I was like, okay, so this is how we're playing, you know.
Yeah.
You know, we're all, anything goes. Like, it's about the win. That's what I'm getting at. Like, I was like, okay.
So we're 2 and 2 chickens at this point. I honestly don't remember the progression after that. I do know for a fact.
I think I just shot you while you were healing, out in the middle of a tree or something. I just shot you off your mount, and you just stared at me, and I shot you again and ran off.
Yeah, we had like a fair fight that I won, and then we had another fair fight that he won. I definitely remember that.
Mm-hmm.
But then for one of the last chickens,
the last ones,
it goes something like, I'm killing a bot and we're in comms, and I'm like, yo, this bot's ripping me a new one. Like, let me heal so we can have an actual fight. And then without saying a word, without anything, an assassin flies across my screen, snipes me, and I'm deleted from the video game. Like, right after, I'm like, yo, this bot just ripped me a new one. Like, let me heal real quick to try and do this fight. And I think that was for my last chicken.
No, we still have chicken. You just
Yeah, I didn't
killed
get
the bot,
deleted.
but you were literally like 200 HP, and I sniped you, and you became a chicken,
And I became a chicken.
and you were furious. Like you went
And I was like,
dampened.
bro.
Yeah, he went off. He was like, "Yo, bro, come on, yo, what is this?" It deafened himself. I let him heal. I'm like trying to talk to him, like joke, but like this is really early on, so like we're very fragile right now between us, and it's he heals up. He turns me into a chicken, and he was still playing fair. He was like, "Okay, I'll let you get back up. What we can heal, stuff like that." He didn't heal yet. As soon as I came on chicken, I shot him in the face. He became his chicken, his last chicken. I didn't let him up. I just killed him instantly. I killed him. This man leaves the call, quits the game, ends his stream about 20 minutes later. Like, it was great. He had a lot of viewers. I mean, I was sitting at like 17 and he was at like 30. And he quits the game, leaves Discord, and I go on and I'm like, I go Twitch to message him and be like, "Yo, GG." Dude, I log on to his Twitch, and this man for a good 10-15 minutes was just ripping me a new one. Going off. I'm talking about
Olusive
no
comes
filter.
into my chat. He
He
goes,
bans me
GG. I said,
instantly.
I don't need to hear from you right now. Not banned.
I'm like, GG's. I don't need to hear from you right now. Ban.
And
I
I
mean-
proceed to rip him a new one for
Dude,
like 7, 8, 10 minutes.
his chat was defending him. They were going off on me. Jay was going off. I mean, I had people coming into my chat going off on me from Jay's chat. Like, dude, he just kept going. He kept going. No filter. I mean, saying just everything. Just landed all out. And I mean, I think I messaged him like 45 minutes later, and I was like, "Yo, my bad, bro. Like, we good?" And he just messaged back, and I was like, "Yeah." Didn't say another thing. I mean, didn't say another thing. And like a day went by, and I hopped in his chat, and I was like, "Oh, hey, I'm unbanned." And he's like, "Oh, yeah." And just like still hated me. And I was like, "You want to play some games?" Sure. I got on. Didn't really say much in the call. Like through the first game, we won. And then it was all good. He started talking and stuff, but man, oh, he went off. Like,
It was a bumpy stretch there for a little bit, but it was all over a freaking 1v1, dude. Like, that's the thing that I got to get better at. It's like, bro, who
you just
cares?
got mad that I won. That's it.
Yeah,
Yeah, you just got mad.
unfairly,
that I'm
obviously. Yo, tell us in the comments who won that 1v1.
better. I mean, me.
Do it.
Elusive. Sorry.
Host votes don't matter. Oh, man.
God,
Yeah, that is a funny story though.
dude, that was great.
I was so mad, dude. I can't even put myself back in how mad I was.
I've never seen you
Just-
that mad.
When you came up and killed my chicken, and also it's worth noting at the time having like that many viewers was like pretty new for me. I was like, there's no way.
Oh yeah,
I
we
just
were at
lost
the
a
top.
1v1 with this many viewers unfairly. Like, dude, I had too much of an ego at the time.
Dude, I mean, that's when people were just coming back to the game. So me and Jay were at the very top of the list of the game. You see him, then me, and then the next nearest person was like 2 viewers, 1 viewer, and he did the respectful thing, let me get up from my chicken, stuff like that. I chickened him, and I instantly went over to him. I think I even danced on you too. I think that's what made you more mad. I like emoted on you, and then I just sniped him, shot him, didn't let him up, and this man within 5 seconds off the game, out of the call, just ripped me a new one for 15 minutes and said, "Okay guys, I'm too mad, I'm gone." And like, he had a lot of viewers. He could have kept going, but he was like, "Okay, I'm mad, I'm off." Didn't say anything else and just ended everything.
I don't even think I rated, or maybe I rated you. I don't think.
No, you didn't raid me.
I think I got off. Yeah. I definitely didn't raid you.
No, you
Yeah, bro.
even
It is
said,
a
you
funny
said,
story.
should I raid someone? And you're like, I could raid Elusive, but that guy's a dick. Like, he's like, I'm not doing that to him. And then you just ended it.
Oh my god, that is a funny story.
Hey, you
That
want
is
1v1?
That's the thing. We don't 1v1 anymore. It ain't happening. Or I'll tell you this: if we 1v1, we're just gonna play like a bunch of savages, and just the first chicken, we're just killing it.
I 1v1 Elusive and he cheated, bro. I can attest that he cheats.
You know,
He
no.
cheats. Okay, we're in. Okay, so hold on. Let me tell the story, because we gotta put some shade on the man's name right now.
Y'all are making me look bad over here.
We were in crossing, all right. So we're both the same class. We're Hunter v Hunter, right? We're trading back and forth. We're chicking each other, whatever. And I'm healing, and the forge is lit. I'm trying to make sure like no one else is in like the middle of our fight, you know. So I'm like, hey, are you forging? He goes, no, I'm not forging. And I'm healing. I'm looking for him. I can't find him. And all of a sudden, here he comes. But he's got an upgraded bow this time. And I'm like, huh. I wonder where you got that, you know? And then, of course, you know, he proceeds to roll me because, you know, higher damage, you know? And then, yeah, he forged and won the game. He forged one and lied.
Okay, one?
What I'm
We
hearing
didn't
is
say
hashtag JPaul won the 1v1. That's what I'm hearing.
Yo. We didn't say we couldn't upgrade. And
No,
why
no,
am
no.
I going to tell you my position? Are you forging? I'm not going to say yes and let you come in and shoot me. I mean,
You could at least been like, hey, no, there's no one in between our fights, you know?
Oh, you should have just known. That's on you, not me. Just get better,
This
bitch.
man's a winner.
That's-
He's the type of guy who, you know. Okay, you know, I'm not gonna make that analogy.
No, come on.
Yeah, I'm gonna.
No,
You
If I
look,
you're
get
the
you
guy-
late game.
this
you
is...
step on the little man's head to get an edge. You know.
Oh,
You're
man.
like, oh, y'all should buy this stock, and then you're like, sell it, hurry, sell it, like. You're
By
that-
10,000.
Yeah, you're the pump and dump guy. That's you.
Yeah, I'm the one that's selling.
do what
the
it takes.
freaking, oh, what are they? The you know, you would go to a hotel and they would have the like, the travel, like the one time a year you could go do, stay at this hotel or resort, the timeshares. I'm selling y'all
Oh,
freaking
God.
beachfront thing, like all great and beautiful. Then you get there and it's like, hey, it's under construction and it's in the middle of, you know, nowhere, like no businesses. It's like, it was great though. The thing's for the money.
I'm like, but it's okay. Everything's fine except for the AC doesn't work and the water's not running.
It's
But
got
fine.
bed
It's like-
bugs.
It's like, what?
I mean, you may
There's a
have,
half a
like-
toilet in the bathroom.
Yeah, half a toilet. There's a urinal. It's like, what? That's it? Yeah, just a urinal.
No, you got a bucket next to you. Like,
Oh my god.
man, I'm here to win. That's the end game, you know? Like, I'm sorry.
You remind me so much of my cousin, bro. Like, he cheeses everything he plays. And every time I beat him,
Dude.
it's just, he finds a way to cheese it. And
Now
the
that we're
comeback.
on the topic of Elusive, I've got to say this as well.
Oh,
He
boy.
reminds me so much of my little brother. My little brother does this thing where he'll say something that is very obviously a reference to something that might be dark or dirty or nasty. For example, he might be like, you know, it's just the most innocuous thing, like, oh, where could I fit this? I don't know. And then whenever you're like, bro, what are you talking about? He'll be like, what? I'm just like, he says, I don't know how to put this into words. He says suspect things, and then when he's called out on them, he just goes, what?
Plays dumb.
he just plays, like, he does this thing, dude, and my little brother did this my whole life, man. It's crazy.
I mean, I
So
am
I'm
the
curious,
little
are you an
brother.
older sibling?
Nah.
You are the younger brother.
I am.
He likes more stuff.
I am the younger brother. Yeah.
So you know the art of, like,
Oh, man.
making me the bad guy, basically, because I'm the older brother.
Oh, exactly.
I'm the bad guy.
You're always the bad guy. It's never my fault.
Dude,
Never.
I've got a story. Oh, I want to tell this story because I thought about it. This is going off topic a little bit. But Biqdz mentioned earlier something about your uncle bought you a PlayStation 3 and it was like the last gift, like you didn't know it was coming, but then it came. Right? One of the coolest things I've ever been able to do as far as Christmas goes was my brother's first PC. It was like a few months after I built my first PC. I say built it. I did it like a pre-build. I just chose the parts. But my brother wanted a PC really bad, and we played like League of Legends together on our laptop and stuff. And so I was able to go 50-50, me and my parents, and build him a PC. And that, dude, I wish I could just like pull up the video and show y'all, but it would be showing too much, and like it would, you know, it's without his consent and all that good stuff. But it's one of my favorite things to go back and look on, is just everything's over and some, like my grandfather starts videoing because he was able to be there that Christmas, and we're like, oh, there is one more thing, and I put it in front of Mom, and I was like, yeah, I got Mom, you know, Mom's got another big thing, and then we slid it over to my brother, and it was terribly wrapped. There was like trash bags on it because it was a monitor and the computer, and there was literally just trash bags over it tied at the bottom. But he tears open the first trash bag and he sees a monitor box, and he looks at it, and he's like, a monitor? He's like, oh, okay. And he goes, and there's another box, and there's literally this moment where he looks in the monitor and looks at the box, and he goes, no. He goes, dude, y'all couldn't, no. And he starts ripping open the, dude, it's like, it's an awesome video. But yeah, that's a wholesome moment where you get to do something like that for somebody.
See, I wish that's like what my brother did for me. Like, I'll tell you, he got me a good present one year, but the year before, it was kind of like the troll year. He wanted to just kind of play some games. He got me a big box. It was heavy, had it wrapped. I was like, okay. I opened the box. Okay, there is a solid taped smaller box in there, duct tape, a full thing. I cut that open. Inside that was a cube that was welded, and I was like, what is this? So we cut it open. Okay, and then there's this small little thing. It's in a nice packaging, and it's I forgot what it was, but it was like something I really wanted. And I opened that, and I was like, oh, yes, you know, I was happy, I got it. I opened it up. My brother bought that for himself, and inside he had a map. The worst drawing of a map with the worst clues, and was like, oh, you've got to find it now. And I was like, I just spent 30 minutes to get into this, to see the box of what I wanted. You bought it for yourself, and now I have a map. I looked for it for like 2 days. He hid it in our stair light. There was like, it has designs and stuff on it, and the top comes off, but his description of where to find it was terrible, and that led me to that. And he gave me a small little it was like a little action figure, and he had a note attached to it and said, better luck next year. That was my gift. That was my gift.
It took you 48 hours to find it.
It was just a thing that said better luck next year, and like, we got him good stuff. Like, I had like hundreds of dollars into his stuff, and I get something from him that was an action figure with a note tied to it that said better luck next year. And that was the only gift I got from him that year. Everyone thought it was hilarious, and I was just, man. So like,
that's a bummer.
It's a bummer. I mean, he's got better. He's got me good stuff now. You know, you get older and you start getting the bigger gifts, the stuff that starts getting expensive. You know, fun times. But man, that was just a young thing. You thought it would be funny. Everyone loved it. Everyone was in on it, and I was so happy until I found that thing, and I just, you know, we all kind of laughed. It was just like the fun thing, you know, for a Christmas gift, but I didn't get anything, but had a great time doing it.
That's such an older brother move.
Oh, it is.
That's brilliant. That's my next year's gift.
Alrighty, boys. Well, I hate to cut it short. It's kind of getting at that point for me. I think I'm going to hit the haystack.
That's actually a good, it's like an hour and a half on the recording right now, so I think it's actually probably a good point.
That's a great start. Yeah, no, it's been fun.
But
Biqdz, thanks for freaking joining us, man. This is the first episode of the Our2Cents flipping podcast, boys.
Let's go.
Again, let us know.
Let's
go. Us know suggestions. You know, give us some feedback if you watch it. You know, appreciate you being here, Biqdz. Appreciate you being here, and yeah, I guess I'll do the freaking send off. Appreciate it, boys.
All right,
See
y'all
y'all
have a
next
good one.
week or something. Yeah,
Take
See
it
you.
easy.
Peace.
nice.